Hey guys, Loudon here, and in this video I want to go over the Directorist plugin. This is something that I had reviewed back in December of 2020, and I was very excited to hear that they were coming out with a version 7 with multi-directory feature. So I kind of waited till they released the version 7, but it was a nightmare of a release with a lot of bugs. And 4 months later, I wanted to test it again, and unfortunately, I don't think it's ready. And I just want to show you guys some of the major issues that I'm finding. So, this is something that I was really excited about, but looks like we're just going to have to either wait a little bit more or probably find a better solution. All right, so right now I have a fresh installation. So what I'll do is I'll go over to the dashboard, go to the appearance, add new, and upload uh, the dList theme, which has most of the plugins that you want. So let's install that. They also recommend having the child theme, but I don't think we need it for this demo purposes. I'm just going to activate that. And it says that this theme requires the following plugins. Begin installing. All right. So let's do that. Install, apply all. It's a pretty straightforward process in regards to getting this thing activated. And now that everything is installed, we can activate it. And we can return to the dashboard. And this is just the Elementor free version. So let's skip that. So now if I go to plugins, you'll notice that there is the dList core, and you have all of these other plugins that we had installed. So if you really want to, we can clean that up in that one. So now here's the thing. This theme requires a bunch of other extensions that they have, but it's not showing right now because we need to activate it. So let me go to themes and extensions, and here we have to connect. So I'm just going to pause real quick and connect. Okay, so here I'm connected now to my account, and this here says this theme comes with the following extensions which are currently uninstalled. All right, and you can manage and activate this. So here's my first impression of these guys not getting it all together. All right, so here are the required extensions, and we were told that we need to install them. So I'm going to actually click this, install, and apply. During my first run, when I actually installed it individually, the these two, I guess it's doing the same thing. It still says get now, even though we just installed it. All right, so this right here says active. I don't know how this is active. If I go to plugins, you'll see that they're not active, right? So let's go back. So this is really not very helpful. Even if I click on activated, then it goes away. Activated. I don't know what to do with these two here. So let me do bulk, and activate, apply. So the business hours and listing with map, still, I don't know what the issue is there. But if I go back to my plugins in view here, now it says these are activated and these two are not. So it's buggy. The fundamental required stuff is still properly not tested. All right, so there you go. We have that all done. Now we can say, all right, let's import demo and generate the pages, right? So I want to actually do the import. So if I go back to the website right now, we're still using, the dList theme because we activated that, but there is no content, there is no menu, there is nothing here. So if we go back and import the demo content, then we should have uh, something to play with, right? So here, want to help make, okay, we don't want to do that right now. And we just want to install this. So all your data will be lost. So if you have other plugins installed and activated, I noticed that it deactivates all of those. So the install process is not like you're just importing the content related to your current setup, but it actually deactivates everything else that you have on your system, on your website. So if you have an existing website and you pull in demo content, it's they do have this message here, but it's not how most other imports work. All right, so I'm just going to wait for this to get done. And here you go. So here's our fresh installed website. And, initially everything looks good till you get to, all the other demo pages that they have. So one issue that I found was if I go to the listing page, this is all messed up. So the star rating icon, something's not loading, and I did inspect, but again, you would expect the demo content to be properly tested, and I have nothing else on my website right now, just their plugins, that's it, and it still doesn't work properly. So that's another, in terms of how they do the testing and the releases, I'm not really convinced that they have the skill set to do proper testing internally. Now, so let me go to the dashboard, and I'm going to look at all the listings. So now we're getting into the nitty gritty of how the plugin should work, right? So here you have some content, and in my last demo, my issue at that time was even the demo content is not something that you can use to test because they're just all over the place. So this place is in Houston and Las Vegas and Tampa, and the location is in Dubai. So like if you wanted to search uh, if you wanted to use the map functionality and do some testing, it's just crap data that you have to go and update again anyway. So it's not very helpful demo content to do the testing. All right, so anyway, what I want to do is I want to change this to a client. So right now, all of this content is for an admin user, and I want to quick edit. I already had one user created. I called it client 1. So I'm going to add that to that client and update. So now this listing here for Fountain Dubai Walk is a client page. All right, so let me go back to the website. On the front end, this is the one. So see how these are all the admin, and this is now a client which doesn't have the icon. So if I go to the details page, now this is the current content. So one thing we need to keep in mind, I'm going to open this up in a new tab, is uh, the current settings for this directory. So if I go to directory settings, where is it? Settings. We haven't enabled the multi-directory. We'll get to that next. But the important thing right now is what happens if a user updates their current content and how you want to process it. Do you want that content to be published by default, or have it unpublished by default pending review, and then you publish it, right? So the flow that we want for our directory, where your client, let's say they claim their listing, you do a review and then you approve, and then if they go change it again, then it goes into pending and you have to approve again, which is what, like my use case is, because I don't want people to claim listing and publish anything that they want. You want, at least initially for a directory, I think you want to have systems in place where you review the content, make sure that it looks legit and it's not spam, and then you publish it to your site. So the settings to do that is under the directory builder. So if I'll go over to the directory, and right now this is the default directory. It's called general, and new listing default status is published, and edited default status is published. So I'm going to actually leave this as published. Let's say on edit, we want that to be in pending review. So the flow would be, once your client updates, it goes into pending, and you review and you publish it. So that's the default now. All right. So what I'll do now is I have another tab open. I'll bring that here, and now I'm logged in. And let me go to my dashboard. So this was the default setup. Let me go to the site. I should be logged in already. And if I click on my listings, here I am, client 1, and this content is published. So what I'll do is I'll create 2 windows so that you can see what's going on. And let me do half here and half here. So Fountain, this is the listing that we're going to be editing. So expected behavior now is this should be going into pending status and not be visible, right? And another thing I can do is actually go here and open a new window, and I'll copy that and open a new window. All right. So this is an anonymous user. So if you're thinking like admin user is able to see or anything, then we're addressing that concern. So right now, this is an anonymous user. And here under settings, we went and changed the setting to go into pending status, right? And just confirm it again, directory builder. And here is edited listing, default status is pending. So I'm going to go and edit this. And I'll go here, edit listing, and I'll say this is my new content, right? And I'll just go scroll to the bottom. Nothing else I'm going to change. I'm going to leave everything as is. Preview changes, agree to the terms. All right, that's fine. That's the default settings. I haven't played with that. So here it says this was supposedly the preview, right? Now I'm going to come back to my anonymous user. I'm going to refresh that. And here you can see the anonymous user is able to see my newly updated, still unapproved content. All right, so let me go back to all my listings. And this one here still says published. All right, so let me go. I don't know what I'm continuing and why do I need to do this? I don't know, but I'll play along. So I'll complete the submission. So I've created a new order when it was like my old order anyway. So all I've done is updated the thing. And if I go to home, this should be, where is it? Okay, now it is in pending. So if I go here, now it went into pending status. And if I go back to the, where is it? The anonymous user, right? And I'm going to refresh this. And now I don't see the page. So there is a gap of the client not finishing the update. So they don't really need to submit anything. They can just go and edit, and they don't need to, like, if I go back to this, well, now it's going to say pending, right? So here's my second line, new text. And since this is already in pending status, it will still be unpublished, right? So if I go back here, refresh, look at that. All right, so the permissions are just so messed up still for their core functionality, and this is the biggest issue I have with this team. They don't do proper testing before releasing an update, and it drives me nuts. I've been waiting almost 4 months for this to stabilize, and just looking at their Facebook group, everybody's just complaining. So I hadn't spent a lot of time. I tested it twice in between, within the 4 months, and it wasn't working then, and it's still not working now. So that's one. Okay, so now let's take it to the next level, which is what I really wanted this plugin to be of use for me. So like what I wanted was actually the multi-directory functionality. I think that's where this could have been really useful, but it hasn't worked out so far. So let me go enable this, and let me show you what the issues are with the multi-directory. All right, so once you enable, you can go back to, you can click on start building directory, or you can come back here, build directory, create a new directory, and let me create a new one. Let's call it bull. All right, and I'm going to leave that setting there, and I'm going to create. So by default, the forms are going to be blank. So like if you wanted to have the exact same setup as the general, it would have been nice if they allowed like a clone option. But what we can do is we can open this up in a new tab, just look at what the general one does. So if I go to form submissions, you have the general group title. These are all the fields. So we can come back to our bull directory and go to submission forms. And right now it only has title, but the other one has listing content and all of this. So what I'll do is I'll just put in the basic that I need. I need a description, I need a location, and I need a category, right? Those are the core things that I would want. Let me update that. Now, uh, if I go to the single page layout, so this listing, if I go to the single page, I want to display these 4 fields, right? And these I pulled from the preset fields, and these are the 4. And there is a bunch of other preset ones depending on all the plugins that you have enabled. And then they also have custom. So these preset fields should be available, right? So if I go to the single page layout, I have none of the presets available that I can drag and display. So this is another bug, and I'll show you what I mean here. So let me go to add new. And I'm going to call this crapshoot because it's not going to work, right? This is my bull S directory. All right, and listing type is bull. All right, so here's my title, here's my description, and category. That's another issue that I need to address, but let me just publish it right now. So here, this is my description. So if I go to this page, I should be able to view that content, right? Okay, so I'm going to open that up in a new post, in a new tab. Is my crapshoot, and there is no description because I am unable to configure it. Okay, this is just, again, a testing failure, just unreal in regards to how they do releases. Okay, now let's address the final issue, and I'll leave it there. This is actually getting pretty long. So if I go to categories, in all my years of WordPress, it hasn't been that many. I mean, I've played around with it for almost a decade now, but 5 years or so, more so than before. I was more a Drupal guy. So here, the way they created the category and the directory type is just amateurish and hackish. It doesn't give me confidence in the skill set of their developers and their product owner or the lead person who is implementing this functionality. Uh, what you would expect in like good architecture is a custom content type, a custom category for each directory. And this is just unreal. So how this works is, so for the bull directory type, let's say this happened to be, uh, let's say real estate. I'm going to say condos, right? And I'll leave that there. And this is part of the bull directory. And everything else here is part of the general. So add new category. So it's just a very hackish way. And now imagine if you had children of condos, uh, and everything is just going to get displayed right here. Like performance-wise, it's just not standard practice to do that. So like, let me refresh this page now that I've added a category. This should start showing up here. Category condo. So condo does show up here, but this implementation that they did is not standard. And basically my concern here is whoever approved this hackish way to implement, and all the tech team that implemented this means that they don't understand the standards and they don't understand how taxonomy and categories work. So imagine if you were creating parents and children's of all of these, and you wanted to export, and it's just doesn't make sense. So that is the last piece that I wanted to share, saying that the Directorist plugin had a lot of potential when I first looked at it, but it looks like they are still far, far, far away from being a viable option for your directory. I would look at something else, because every release just breaks previous functionality. And if you had to retest everything, and your clients are, uh, paying you for their listing, you would be better off with a different solution. Okay, I'm actually looking at building my own with custom post types at this point. So uh, I liked the overall team, and just being able to get started right away. But looks like it's not going to be functional. And the sad part is, without focusing on the stability of their core uh, functionality, they're looking to integrate with all these other plugins, which adds more complexity, and I don't believe they have the skill sets to be able to release stable versions. All right, so there's my verdict. I'm done with this for at least I don't know, maybe another. I have a license, so I'm. It would be nice to be able to use it for some of the projects, but I can't wait anymore. I have to find something that works out of the box. All right. So with that, my recommendation is a big no. Look for something else. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.